which is the most valuable asset of any company, that is HR, that is human resource. We call them as what? Employees. Job analysis is the process of gathering and analyzing information. Analysis is all about what? Analyzing on what basis? On information which you people get. One person here, whoever comes to this position of HRM, how his job should be done, that is through analysis they'll actually determine. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Vidhyaashram from the Department of Commerce and Management in Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to all the students for the second chapter, first session. The chapter is very interesting here, students. You will learn so many things which you are supposed to know as a HR student. Now, when we go with this chapter, that is the human resource planning, here you also have two more topics called as recruitment and selection. See, in the previous chapter we studied the introduction of human resource management, where I told you that human resource management is not just a department, it is the department. So what all happens in the entire department, we're gonna learn in the second chapter as well. So what exactly we're gonna learn here is, the first thing is human resource planning. Now, human resource planning introduction, if I need to give you what exactly the human resource plan is all about. We all know that planning is something which is all about future. We don't plan for yesterday, we plan for tomorrow, isn't it? So planning is all for the future. So it is a future course of action which determines something. What is that? It determines, it bridges the gap between what you are and what you want to be. The same way, human resource planning also, it involves something called as making decisions. What exactly type of decision? Appropriate decisions in regard to the position that an organization ought to fill and the best ways to fill them. What exactly they are supposed to fill? The human resource. So that is what human resource planning is all about. So it is what? It is making appropriate decision about an employee or the candidate, whoever comes for the process of recruitment, and then they get selected. Now they are the employees. Now the minute they come to the company, the human resource planning starts. So it is the basic duty of any human resource management to focus what should be the employees' welfare all about. So what exactly the future should be, how their career should move, all these are human resource planning. Now, human resource planning meaning, if I need to give it to you, that is, it is a continuous process. Why it is a continuous process? We know that we're not hiring anybody for just a day or a week or a month. It is a continuous process. See, man may come and man may go, but the position of the organization will stay forever. See, example, if I need to give it to you, let's take an example of Tata company. So though Tata company was started by Jamshedji Tata, but still after his death also Tata is successfully running. That means why this is happening? It is all because of the process which they set when they started the initial company. Please do understand that whenever we go with a continuous process, that means it is perpetual succession. So succession happens, you are supposed to follow that. So human resource planning is a continuous process of systematic planning. See, these are the keywords which you people need to go with it. These are the key words. So what is the keyword? Systematic planning. You're not just planning it, you're systematically using scientific tools, techniques, methods, approaches, hypothesis you will actually see, and everything you will actually come to a judgmental aspect that how we are supposed to plan for the future. That is why it is called a systematic plan ahead of or ahead to achieve optimum use of the most valuable asset. Which is the most valuable asset of any company? That is HR, that is human resource. We call them as what? Employees. So human resource planning is all about what? Systematic. You are supposed to plan systematic. And why you are planning it? So that each and every employee will get something called development of each and every individual to his or her greatest efficiency. That is what F.W. Taylor also says in his scientific management. You need to make sure that each and every person need to be very good. In what way? The efficiency level should be really good. That is how human resource planning should be set. Human resource planning ensures the best fit, the best person at the best place at the right time. That is what human resource planning should be. See, now I'm getting trained for cricket, but human resource planning says that I need to go for football. So that is not a proper human resource planning, isn't it? I just gave an example of a sports. Now let's take an example of our employees itself, right? Now, there is a candidate who comes and his specialization is marketing, and just because there is a person who's a HR who doesn't know how exactly he need to recruit that person, now he'll recruit him in HR department. How can that person, the candidate, give his 100% to HR where his specialization was marketing? So you need to understand this. Human resource planning is not just recruiting some random person, selecting some random person and giving him a job. Human resource planning is all about what? Systematic planning, right? And what exactly you are supposed to do? Take optimum use of that person. But here, if you don't do it, if a marketing guy is given a HR job, or a HR person is given a finance job, it will be a mumbo jumbo of the company. So that's why you need to make sure that if that person is good in marketing, you need to put him in marketing. In marketing, there are so many branches, isn't it? Now you need to understand which branch this person will be used optimally. His experience, his knowledge, his expertise, his specialization, where can we use it? That is what human resource planning need to ensure. Importance of HRP. Now this question will definitely come for 10 marks question, so please be attentive when you go with it. The first one, it gives the company the right kind of workforce. See, why we do human resource planning is only because the workforce should be good, right? The candidates should be good, the employees should be good, they should get proper training and development. Now why is that we are doing it? Why are we stressing so much for human resource planning? Is our productivity need to increase, the profitability of a company need to increase, the wealth maximization need to increase. In overall, if I need to go with it, the company need to grow. And if and only if a proper HR is being placed, the company will definitely do something called more productivity. So here we need to go with what? The workforce should be good, so that at the right time frame and in the right figure. See, we are not supposed to hire a lot of people just to make productivity. See, many of us in the 21st century, we are shocked after COVID. Many companies who have recruited many employees over past 2020, 21 and 22, now in 2023, what is happening is there is a lot of layoff. Reason is what? Unnecessarily, because of a demand and a supply, they recruited so many people. Now they feel that right now they are not in need of so many employees. That's the reason. What are they doing? They are sacking them out. But it is what? Unethical. We can't say they shouldn't do it. See, it is one of the cost-cutting methods which the company always use. Whichever they feel that they are not supposed to have these kind of employees, what they do is they lay off them. But what were they supposed to do? They were supposed to plan for it. So their human resource planning really failed, and so many employees, you can't even imagine how many employees across the world. Or just if you go take a sample of India, there are so many employees, lakhs of employees who have lost their job only because the HRP done by the company was wrong. In striking a balance between demand for and supply of resources, HRP helps in optimum usage of resources and also in reducing the labor costs. So HRP used also to what? To reduce the labor cost. Cautiously forecasting. See, cautiously forecasting, not just forecasting. You need to see the future and then cautiously you are supposed to forecast the future, and it helps to ensure the supervise manpower in a better way. Thus, pitfalls can be avoided. See, a lot of companies have gone with this pitfall that can be avoided only through human resource planning. So that's why you are supposed to cautiously check, and the forecast when you do it though, you're not supposed to just go with your intuitions. You should also go with the scientific methodologies. It helps the organization to develop succession plan. See, succession plan is a very important keynote here, which you are supposed to go with it. Again, I am telling you, please do consider these keywords. Understand these keywords. Succession plan. Now, what is a succession plan? There are so many people who are very important in a company, but you are also need to understand that life is beautiful with them or without them. This is what the company always go with, because company has something called perpetual succession, but not human being. We are not immortal, we are mortal, isn't it? So whoever are the important people, one fine day they're not in the company, what is that you are supposed to do is there should always be a replacement for that person. That is what the natural thing which we are supposed to accept, though it is very difficult for you to digest it, but this is the reality which you people need to understand. Those people will get retired, so you are supposed to have one more person to replace their position. See, nobody can replace anybody 100%. That is the fact. They can be better than the person or they can be less than the person, but they can't be the exact person. So human resource planning, it also aims for what? Succession plan for all its employees. Not just for one person, for all its employees. In this way, it creates a way of internal promotions. So succession plans will happen. People will replace some other person in some other positions. It compels the organization to evaluate the weaknesses. See, one thing which we are supposed to understand is there's something called SWOT. S-W-O-T. So we call that as strength, weakness, opportunity, threats. Once if you recover or once if you know your weakness, you can actually overcome your weaknesses. Human resource planning always aim in correcting somebody's weakness. They tell exactly, see, the basic duty of a HR manager is to tell the employees what they are good at, but more than that, what they are going wrong, where they are going wrong, why they are going wrong. That is what we are supposed to go with it. So here it compels the organization to evaluate the weakness and strength of personnel. The meaning of personnel is staff. Staff is called as personnel, thereby making the management to take remedial measures, any measures taken to correct the weakness as well as strength, right? So how to correct the strength? You can actually ensure and give more strength, added strength to it. How to polish it, upskill your strengths. That is what will give you more strengths. So the organization as a whole is benefited when it comes to increase in productivity. All these things we do only for what? Increasing productivity, profit, skills. So thus giving an edge over its competitor. How can we compete with the other competitors? It's a question for all the students here is, see, everyone has 24 hours. Say Tata company has 24 hours, Reliance has 24 hours, Adani's has 24 hours. Everybody have 24 hours. I have 24 hours. Even you people have 24 hours. So what exactly we are supposed to do in this 24 hours? That is what we need to plan. So that's why I see not just human resource planning, which we are supposed to understand, we are also supposed to understand if you plan properly these 24 hours, how your life can be. There will definitely be a change if you upskill your strengths. If you learn more, which you are supposed to learn, so what will happen? You can score centum in the examination. That's why take an example of HRB. Please make sure that you people also plan. Not just plan, you will also do it. That is what you are supposed to go with. Process of HRP. Now here, process of HRP can come for 15 marks questions. So understand you are supposed to go with a flow chart, or say you go with, say whenever it is a process, you can write it like this, HRP process, right? You can go with it. Process. Then you start dividing these people into parts and you can go with it. So the first one is determining the objectives of HRP. What are the objectives of HRP? Why is that we are taking HRP? There should be an objective. There are so many things in HRP. What are the objective you are supposed to take, and then go with it. Second is analyzing current manpower inventory. Right now, how many people are there who are working for that particular project? Next is forecasting demand and supply of HR. You need to understand the reality. How many people are coming, how many people aren't. Analyzing the manpower gap. There will be a manpower gap. That is what you are supposed to analyze, that how many people are there. Employment plan and action plan. Later give them training and development. Appraisal of manpower planning if you do it. This is the process of HRP. So in a very nutshell, I'll just tell you. First thing here, you need to go with objective. Set an objective. Done. Objective is done. You need to understand how many people are there in your organization. Say example, if you have say 50 people, you go with there are 50 people. Next thing is you need to understand the forecast, the demand and supply. So demand and supply, they say that there is a demand of 150 employees, but we only have 50 employees. Next is analyzing the manpower gap. What is the manpower gap which you people went with? That is 100 is the manpower gap. Now what exactly you are supposed to do? You need to go for employment plan and action. Start recruiting these people. Recruiting and selection of 100 people. Then what is that you should do is give them training and development. So you need to train them and there should be a development. And the last one is please go with the manpower planning appraisal. Performance appraisal is mandatory. You are supposed to take care of your employees. So this entire setup is called the human resource planning process. HR demand forecasting. Now, how will you forecast the HR demand? So, human resource demand forecasting is a process of estimating the future human resource requirement in right quality and right number. This is what you are supposed to always go with. 2 marks question you will definitely get. The question is the demand forecasting of HR. You are supposed to say it is all about the future, how many people you really require, and that should be what? Not quantity, it is also should be what? Quality, right? Quality and right number, quality with quantity. Factors affecting the demand forecasting. What are the factors which will affect? The first thing is employment trends. Now the trends are changed. People look for something which is challenging, right? People look for something which has a lot of future. People who look for, vouch for companies which has standards, right? Plus they have something called the employee arrangements. So these are the things which they go with it. Next is replacement needs. What are the replacement needs? Then they check for it. Productivity, absenteeism, expansion and growth. Here if you need to understand is absenteeism. Now whenever we go with the forecast, there are so many people who ever work in an organization, they go with something which is not needed, but still they do it. The reason may be so many factors, but they will be absentees. They'll not work. Say they are supposed to work from Monday to Saturday, but they work from Monday to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they take a leave. Some other things will be there. So here what happens is you can't take care of those people. You can't track them where exactly they go. So that is the factor which will determine the HR forecasting of the demand. Expansion and growth. Whenever you go with any expansion and growth, then also there will be your factors which will affect the HR demand. Techniques of demand forecasting. What are the techniques which they use? First one here is managerial judgments. Work study technique, ratio trend analysis, econometric model, Delphi model. See, many of my students I have seen whenever I go and I start correcting in the MYSURU University, I see many of them, instead of writing Delphi model, they write Dilip model. So please do not write, there is nothing called Dilip model, it is called Delphi model. And the last one is other techniques. Now, other techniques, a lot of techniques which we use it. So how to remember these things? What is the spelling of modern? M-O-D-E-R-N, isn't it? So M for managerial, O for other, D for Delphi, E for econometric, R for ratio trend, and the last one we have W, right? So please make sure this is W. So that is how you people need to remember the technique of HR demand forecasting. MODER. N you write later, that N you are supposed to replace with W. That is how you people need to remember. And many of our friends and students, they always tell me, please do teach me something called the Vidhyaashram trick. This is what the Vidhyaashram trick to remember the techniques of demand forecasting. Now, importance of supply forecasting. Now, what exactly the demand and supply forecasting is all about? Importance. The first one is estimating the net HR requirement. It is always you need to think what exactly the number you require to recruit people. Preparation and prepare the action plan for redeployment. You are supposed to think how many people you need and how many people you are supposed to deploy, and what are the type of people you really require in the organization so that it can smoothly function. Organizing redeployment programs, organizing redundancy, retrenchment programs, forecasting future from all the sources, not just one source. You are supposed to check all the sources, and you need to predict how much you are supposed to deploy and how many people you are supposed to have in your company. Succession planning, 2 marks question you will definitely get. Write a note on succession planning or what is succession planning, define succession planning. So for all these questions, the answer is very simple. The term succession plan refers to a business strategy. What exactly it is? It is a business strategy. This is a keyword. Business strategy is a keyword. Company uses to pass leadership role down to another employee or group of employees. Say we had something called TCS, right? Tata Consultancy Services, TCS. Now when TCS was there was a person called as Cyrus Mistry. Cyrus Mistry. Now Cyrus Mistry became also the chairman of Tata. Now again, after Cyrus Mistry, who is a person? So that is what succession planning is. Now here what happens, just say example I'll just give you. There is a person called MD, and here we have the role, that is the HR manager. We have here the finance manager. I'm just taking 2 examples. Say the managing director got retired. So there is a vacant post of managing director. We can do internal recruitment or we can do external recruitment. If I give an example of internal recruitment, what happens? The succession plan is after him, who is the person who gonna come? Question mark is, it can be a HR manager, it can be a finance manager. Now the MD feels that while he was there, he wasn't retired, he will actually nominate a person to be the MD and then he'll get retirement. That is what the succession planning is. After him, who should be the next person to the position? That is what the succession plan is. Succession planning ensure that the business continue to run smoothly and without interruption. See, the minute he gets retired, after that people will not do succession planning because there will be a problem, disturbance. Who is the real boss? So before he retires, only he will actually nominate a person. It can be anybody, whomever. He will make sure that this seat will have a successor. That is what he'll go with it. So here, after important people move on to a new opportunity, it can be a retire. I gave an example of retirement, or pass away if they are not there. So that is a problem. Succession planning should be always there because life is uncertain. Features of succession planning. The first feature is it's a systematic process, supply of labor, used for higher level organizational position. Internal selection always happens in the succession planning. It is always what? The internal planning happens. And we have something called key succession plan is what we always take. This is very important, key succession plan, because they make sure that each and every criteria and the category will be taken into consideration. They will work out on it and who should be the next person. They'll actually plan. Job analysis. Now 2 marks question you can get. What is job analysis? Define job analysis. The job analysis here is Job analysis is the process of gathering and analyzing information. Analysis is all about what? Analyzing on what basis? On information which you people get about the content and the human requirement of job, as well as the context in which job are performed, how a job should be done, how a job was being performed. You are supposed to have all the information and analyze which one is the best course of action, and then you are supposed to do it. This process is used to determine placement of job. That is what job analysis is. Uses of job analysis: first one, it is used in human resource planning. Second is it is used in job evaluation. You need to check how your employees are performing. You really need to understand the process of evaluation so that the strength and weakness of the employees can be told to the employee so that they can improve, and in coming years the productivity of the company will increase due to their change in behavior. Recruitment, selection and placement, we use job analysis. Optimum use of human resources. Why? Because job analysis gives you instinct how you are supposed to work. Training and development, we use job analysis. And the last one here is labor management relation, also we use job analysis. Now, to extend more about it, in job design, see, whenever you design a job, say there is a job, say example, human resource manager, how well this person need to work is design and job design, and job enlargement, job specification, job description. The entire picture is what? That one person here, whoever comes to this position of HRM, how his job should be done. That is through analysis they'll actually determine. Safety and welfare measure, compensation, reduce frustration. Job analysis need to aim to reduce frustration in the employees. Determines authority responsibility relationship. Who should report to whom? The authority and responsibility. That is what the delegation will also be used in the job analysis. Process of job analysis. First is organizational job analysis. Selecting representatives job for analysis. Collection of data for job analysis. You need to collect the required data. The fourth one is documentation, verification and review. When I say documentation, verification and review, what really happens here is the data which is collected, you are supposed to record it. You need to verify whether the data is right or wrong, because on the basis of data, you will actually evaluate the job analysis. And then you need to review whether the verification which you have done is really right or it is somewhere near to right. After that, we have preparing job description. See, in the process of analysis, we are supposed to describe how a job should be done. The entire detail about a job, what you are supposed to do, what you are not supposed to do, should be described properly so that there is no problem for the employer as well as the employee. And the last one we have is preparing job specification. Specifically, that post is for what? What are the roles, what are the duties, what are the responsibility? You are supposed to specify them, what exactly they are supposed to work. So this entire process is called as the process of job analysis. Any doubts regarding this, please do call us. We are always there to help you. Thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you. Thank you.